Wake up, gamers, cause you're listening to Big Think Dimension with KZ Excellent,
I'm optimistic about things.
Dan and Bob Video
You
Games,
see that mountain? You could fuck another man on that mountain.
and Mr. Feel.
Oh, I'm KZ, and I love chewy cookies.
Here on GigaBoots.
Baby Yoda found dead in Miami.
KZ.
Oh no!
KZ is Baby Yoda found dead in Miami.
That's a spoiler. I'm still waiting on the next episode.
Mr. Feel, is Baby Yoda actually found dead in Miami?
Yes, very upsetting. He was run over by a 2006 Honda Civic.
God damn it. It's always this
always
2006
fucking
Honda
Hondas.
Civic.
I thought it'd be a Flintstone car. I mean, it is Florida.
Dude hawked up
Run
on
over by
bath
John
salts.
Goodman.
Who gave John Goodman bath salts?
Flintstones just takes place in Florida.
Yeah, that's
It's not actually prehistoric. It's just Florida.
Yeah, no, it's just somewhere slightly south of Miami.
That's why Dan's car is so loud. It's just his feet hitting the ground.
Yeah, he's running so fast they're on fire.
Yes.
Then he stops at Whataburger and gets a giant brontosaurus rib put on the side of his car.
I get a giant brontosaurus
It's got
mushroom
mushrooms
Swiss.
on it.
Yes.
Only Sonic will bring it out to your car like that,
And,
though.
and then I'm like, hey, can I get an egg on that? And then they crush one of those giant pterodactyl eggs on it. And then I'm like, yabba dabba doo, gamers.
Almost makes me want to like grab a fucking Siva Gunner remix for the intro theme that's just Flintstones.
Dabba dabba doo, gamers.
I mean, if you want to do the extra work.
I mean, we already have to edit a mouse cursor in front of the intro sequence.
Important lore.
Crucial.
Incredibly. Man, it's been a hell of a week.
Dan, I'm going insane. Stop it.
Stop what? What am I stopping?
Mouse cursor content.
Oh. Is there a mouse cursor in like a video in fucking Pokemon or something?
The ending.
What?
They left a mouse cursor in the video for the credits. So
Right near the beginning, too.
it's on
Oh,
the
I wasn't
visuals
even
on
paying
the side.
attention. Oh my god.
I'm gonna look at this video. I need to see how noticeable it is. Oh my god, that is so noticeable.
Oh, it's
Why?
so funny. It's so
I'll
funny.
send you the video.
The best part is the game actually blocks you from recording the credits, and I'm like, I swear to God, they found out at the last second and just disabled it. Because what?
How does that happen?
I was like, it can't be real. And then I beat the game.
Oh
sorry.
my god.
It's just funny. It's funny as hell. What do you guys mean? You think this game
It's
is
like-
rushed? Game has mouse cursor in the credits. Oh man, what a perfect storm! What a perfect storm.
So, usually we talk about video games and
We've
stuff
been
we've
playing, you know, we've been
A
playing.
lot of it's been
A
Pokemon,
lot
which
of
we can't really talk about.
Yeah,
We
we're
forgot
gonna
to talk about the Podlord.
I
No,
played something else, too.
yeah. I played Stadia,
Oh, okay,
motherfucker. We're not moving past that.
Right, we can't go that
Oh,
quick.
yeah.
We gotta
That
bait
needs
them
to
though.
be stabbed in the throat.
Someone else should go first though. You know, Bob, what have you been playing?
I played the new Sakura Wars. They put out a Japanese demo.
Ooh.
Oh.
That's the one with character designs by artist Bleachman.
Yeah, by Kubo Tight. Tight is how he says it's pronounced, not me.
Kubo Tightman.
And his brother Hella.
Oh my god. He would do that. Oh my god. If he ever has a kid, I will be surprised if that's not his name.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, that's what you gotta name your kid when you have sunglasses permanently fused to your face.
So how's Sakura Wars, Bob?
That's the most anime game I could imagine.
Yeah, it
You're the
sure
one saying
is.
this so
You're
much.
selling me on this game.
So you start in this big house where you're living with all these ladies.
Yeah.
Okay, you're selling me on this game.
Yeah, it started as a dating sim.
Yeah,
I mean, well, it's half a dating sim. So yeah.
It's Tenchi Muyo.
Okay.
By the way, Tenchi Muyo is getting a new OVA next year because apparently we're back in the fucking 90s.
Oh no, that's been going. Like
Yeah.
that's been going since last year. Like it's been the last 2 years.
There's never been more than like 3 years without a Tenchi thing, and every time it hits me in the face like a golf club.
That's how you know Tenchi's a lich. He can't die.
But yeah, there's some, or the animations for in those cutscenes is really cool. You actually get to walk around, meet the girls, and they like you have dialogue options. I couldn't read any of it because it's all in Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
But I was pretty impressed by like the amount of animation that went into it, and walking around the area actually felt pretty nice. Like it has a ramp up to him walking, and it looks like someone walking. It's strange. I didn't expect it to have like actually solid animation for anything like this section. But yeah, the sequences were, even not understanding them, just the most anime sequences you could imagine of like, oh man, you walked into the girls' dressing room while they weren't there, but then they came in, so you had to hide.
Oh, jeez.
Then there's like the weird QTE for if you try and peep on her.
yeah,
Did you win?
day one purchase.
No. Oh my god.
But yeah, I'm pretty excited. The game seems well put together. I had to go through all that and like let me play like a couple minutes of the combat. I'm hoping the combat's real early. I hope this is not close to done because it runs real bad.
Bob's like, I noticed there's a lot of polish on the parts that are pervy and not a lot of polish on the parts that are the gameplay.
Hey, it's not all pervy in the walking around segment. There was just that one part.
Okay, if you say so.
You know, most of the polish is on the part that people will post about on social media.
Yeah.
And not the part that you wouldn't.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Fire Emblem.
Yes.
It's like no one's posting like, yo, here's my meme of the battle. They're like, yo, this chick doesn't play Uno.
I wonder if this is going to be even remotely as insane as the first ones, where it's like, here's one of your new group members. We got her out of jail. She was sentenced to 1,000 years in prison because she committed 99% of all crime in Paris.
Oh,
That's pretty raw. The one of the characters actually has pictures from the old game in her room. Like she's apparently a fan of one of the old groups. So
Yeah.
it's pretty weird seeing that just in her room.
Is it like exactly the? Is it like promotional art in a frame?
Basically, yeah.
Because Sega loves doing that. I always lose my shit in a Yakuza game where they flash back to the PS2.
It felt like a lot like that. It's literally just that old art sitting in a frame. Like, oh man, this one character. I'm guessing she's related to her somehow.
mm-hmm.
Because like the old Sakura Wars main character is just framed.
Look, she's just the audience surrogate. Okay, don't overthink.
But yeah, I was pretty pleased with what I saw there. I just hope they have time to pulse the combat a little bit because I want it to run better. It felt a lot like a Dynasty Warriors style game where it's just like, okay, you have a 4-hit combo and then a button to modify it to do a special hit. The level design was super simplistic though. It was literally like, okay, go forward in this line and fight these guys. That opened the gate. Now keep going.
Level design that's overly simplistic that involves going down what is virtually a hallway.
Uh-huh.
You had a lot of that this week, huh?
Yep.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Any other comments, Bob? On
I guess not. Like I'm still excited for it. I really hope they dub it. I don't know if I know that we're actually getting a Western release, but I don't know if they're going to do that because that will be a lot of voice work. Because even in this demo, it's just a ton.
I can't imagine they don't, because they're even dubbing Yakuza at this point.
Right. Like they seem to get the idea. I feel like
Judgment getting a dub was pretty shocking. So
And they're treating this as like a major title, so I can't imagine it won't get a dub.
I really hope that the main character is just straight up voiced by Johnny on Bosch.
God.
I can't think of anyone more fitting.
I'd also be fine with like Sean Chiplock.
Yeah, I need it to just be, this is Bleach the game.
Okay, go call Michelle Ruff.
I'm sure she can be one of them. There's definitely enough girls for her to fit one of the archetypes.
It's that fucking Dr. Phil, like, distantly banging on your door thing.
Okay, I forgot what the
Michelle Ruff, I
protagonist
need you in this video game. I need you to be
Give me
my love
$200.
interest.
I forgot what the protagonist looked like, and yeah, he needs to be either Johnny Young Bosch or Ben Diskin.
Yeah, okay.
Fucking Ben Diskin. I think I played like 8 games with him in it this year.
He blew up like in the past couple years. He's been in fucking everything.
They finally realized how good he was.
I look forward to Gearbox claiming they somehow did it.
We looked at him once.
No, it's Activision. They're like, hey, you remember Eric Sparrow? We made him.
We made you.
I think that he really blew up in Drake and Josh.
Oh my god.
Where he's the kid, in like one of the darkest jokes I've ever seen for a kids show. He's like, my parents told me to give all my games away because they joined a cult. I'm gonna go kill myself. I'm like, Jesus.
I don't really have anything else to say about Soccer Wars, unless somebody has questions for me about it.
No, but I have a quick interstitial, or what have you, in between yours, what you've been playing, and Feels. I apparently yelled at Eric that I was going to get high off my ass, and then the writing in a certain game I was playing would be brilliant. Maybe a bit too loud, and my phone picked it up, because now it's showing me, on YouTube's recommended, it's like how Cheez-Its are made. I'm like, yeah, it heard me yell that. I'm gonna get high off my ass.
Now
YouTube's
I want Cheez-Its.
like,
God damn
ready.
it.
That's happened before with my tablet, where sometimes I'm like going to bed. I take a look at it and it says, here's the results for Goosebumps. And I'm like, oh no, the podcast did this.
God damn it, podcast. Also, click.
I definitely don't go
yeah.
searching for Goosebump books daily.
Well, now I do.
But yeah, that's all I was going to say.
Are they on Audible?
That's right. I'm actually checking out a hot new book on Audible. What was it? Say cheese and die? Say cheese and
the
die.
people say
2.
cheese and die again.
Again.
Yes.
Fucking goosebumps. Mr. Feel, what have you been playing?
I'm gonna be real. I'm pretty much. Oh, I played Fallen Order. I played through Star Wars Fallen Order.
Oh, you played through it completely?
Yeah, it's all
wow.
like 15 hours long.
Are there lightsabers in that?
Allegedly. I don't want to get into it too much because I'm sure I know everybody else is gonna play it, so I'd rather have like a group discussion about it.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it. It was as good as you could possibly expect a licensed action game coming from EA to be.
I have a very bleak outlook on life, and EA is a part of that. I'm going to need qualifications that maybe are more insightful.
Yeah, even my expectations are low.
So it's battling against BMX or like
There's definitely parts where it's like EA fucked them on this. Where like where it's like the fact that you know how I said when you hit a loading gate in Code Vein the game shits itself?
Yeah.
Jedi Fallen Order shits and pisses itself.
Oh no. And cum did.
It hard locks and throws a loading icon in the corner.
Oh.
And
yeah, I've seen
for
that
sometimes for so long I thought it fucking crashed.
Wow, what is it? The Stadia?
Now, that appears to only be on one specific planet. But the first time I encountered it, I was like, yeah, I'm running through this area and I'm jumping in the air. Freeze.
Oh.
Oh.
And
That sucks.
and I'm like, and I'm like, what happened? And then I noticed the loading thing and it lasted like 45 seconds.
Wow.
And then after it was done, After it was done, you looked at the camera, you mugged to the camera, and you said, I think it's too soon for new consoles. And then you went back to playing it.
And then I looked at the camera and said, they really did take inspiration from FromSoft.
I don't think new consoles need to come. Our games are fine as is. Let me go back to the 80th Unreal Engine 4 game that's loading.
I set them all up simultaneously like a crock pot, so that way they could finish by the time it's the end of the day.
Here's how I play Kingdom Hearts 3. I say, okay, I'm gonna go to the restaurant in Kingdom Hearts 3. I hit it in the menu. I set the controller down. I go to work. I come back and it's ready. Maybe
set it and forget it. You know, that's the Unreal Engine.
I need
format.
to stream Kingdom Hearts 3 again, just so Dan can come in every time there's a loading screen and I can lose my mind.
I just want to talk about this now because I never get an opportunity to talk about this. Housemarque, the people who made Resogun, actually did a really good presentation on how to optimize loading and other things for Unreal Engine 4, because they're currently working on a AAA game in Unreal Engine 4, and no, it's not that battle royale game. But they talk about all the work you have to do to flag all of your objects properly, so that way it could prioritize and not make you wait. That way, when you go to a level, you don't have to wait for the bullets inside of the gun of the guy who is on the opposite end of the fucking level to load in order to start playing. They're like, this is how you do it. This is how you classify these objects. Here's how you do all this. This is really important. You all should be doing this. And I was like, yeah, they should. They're clearly not. Jesus.
Every time you talk about Housemarque, you get sad.
Yeah, me too. But at least they have that AAA thing. I'm really interested in whatever that is, and honestly, I'll buy it, even if it... I mean, I don't expect anything from them to look like a tire fire that isn't a battle royale. So I'll buy it. I'll buy whatever it is. Resogun and Nex Machina were really incredible. I love Super Stardust. And Dead Nation was really fun too. Alien Nation I found to be weird. So
you still haven't played Matterfall, have you?
No.
That's crazy.
I know. I bought it. I'm pretty sure. I'm not positive though.
I bought it. So
you bought it.
Nothing else. You could play it on my system.
Yeah, I'm just...
Yeah, I know. There's
have
no
you
time.
Have you ever seen someone so worried to not like something that they just won't even touch it?
That's fair. I mean, I played it a bit and was like, this is pretty mid.
Oh.
And that's not something I like thinking about their games, because typically they're amazing.
Yeah, typically they do some stuff you've never seen anywhere else, like on a technical front, if nothing else. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Let's stop talking about disappointing things. KZ, please tell me you've played something in the last week, because
I actually had one more thing to say.
Okay,
Yeah.
please, thank you.
Just like the game's good, it has issues, but the way things happen in the game, they seem open to a sequel where presumably they could iron out all these issues and make it really good. So I'm happy about it. This doesn't just mean like, okay, Respawn, you got your Star Wars games out. Time for the surgery where we pull out all your organs. Like it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case.
And then the EA executive yells, "Get off!" as he rips out their spine and crushes it in his hand.
Then the EA guy's like, before I remove your organs, let's talk about Madden 2020 on xCloud.
Oh, God, not again.
I always like it when my quarterly earnings meetings involve the main guy asking for sugar water a lot. You know, that really helps me as an investor feel like I'm putting money in the right place.
That Jedi, the communication behind that Jedi game's real funny, where they're like, here's our big single player only, no microtransactions Star Wars experience. We've always liked those. We've always thought those are profitable.
Yeah.
We definitely didn't cancel one saying it has all the qualities this game has and use them as a negative.
Fallen Order isn't like a rebooted 4 times version of that?
No,
Oh.
it's not.
Wait, you didn't know? Yeah, no. The Amy Hennig game only got canceled last year or this year.
And then they pushed the assets to someone else.
Yeah, no, that was made by a completely
too,
different.
I believe.
Yeah, that was made by a completely different studio than Respawn.
Why is EA like this?
I can tell you exactly why that happened. The studio was located in fucking California, so it cost way too goddamn much. Amy Hennig came in and she didn't trust any of the leads from any of the departments because she came into a studio that was pre-existing and became the director. It was a fucking nightmare. Oh, also, EA forced them to make a multiplayer element with a Canadian studio in Montreal because Montreal's cheap. If I remember correctly.
I'm just asking, what's your Ultimate Team equivalent for your Uncharted-esque Star Wars game?
KZ, talk about what you played. I need to escape the nightmare of Ultimate Team.
It just means that it's so long as your memory isn't a goldfish, you will see EA say one thing and then release this Jedi game that is
the exact opposite. Yeah.
It's good they're not even pretending they aren't sociopaths.
I'm surprised I can hear them from out here outside of their ass where their head is.
It's very muffled, though.
Yeah.
So, the only thing I played was Pokemon, so it doesn't count.
Dan,
so I want to
unleash your rage upon Stadia.
I went on David Jaffe's live stream.
Oh, no, not this. Was it much fun?
It was much fun for Dan. I would say most of that day was much fun for Dan. Between David Jaffe finding out about that podcast by somebody telling him.
I forgot about our blood feud against David Jaffe.
Yes, the titling a podcast "Much Fun for David Jaffe." The funny thing is, he listened to that segment and he was like, "I thought you guys were trying to say I was into Japanese schoolgirls, and then I find out you're implying I just have a giantess fetish." Yeah, man, if fucking you make the female version of the Jolly Green Giant, I'd fuck the shit out of that. And I lose it. Like, I've just completely gone. I'm like, what is my life? I'm on David Jaffe's live stream at 4:30 in the fucking morning, listening to him talk about how he wants to fuck the Jolly Green Giant.
You sent the segment out. You like tweeted it and stuff. I'm like, I can't listen to this.
That was also what I did. I'm like, this is the mystery box. It's better if this mystery box is never opened.
No, it is.
No,
it is amazing if you listen to it.
You know what's inside that mystery box? Hope, or a giantess fetish. One of the two.
Yeah, apparently the Jolly Green Giant's ass is inside that box.
It was really fun going on there and trying to explain the insanity that is the much fun for meme.
Oh my god, I didn't think about the angles. Like, so have you played Banjo-Tooie for the N64?
Oh, you had to explain that.
Yeah, no, I was like, let me explain. So we have a bit of a history with our podcast and stuff, sort of kink shaming, just a little bit, just to have fun, not to legitimately be like, oh, let's protest this person. And, we were doing some marathons of Banjo-Kazooie back in August, which I didn't say the name of the month because I would like to have a little bit of dignity at 4:30 in the morning on a man's podcast live stream thing. Anyway, and then I explained to him the strategy guide saying much fun for Mumbo, and he's like, oh, Mumbo's the Native American chick? And I'm like, no. And he's like, oh, so Mumbo's the witch doctor who made themselves huge. And I'm like, no, Mumbo's the witch doctor who made the Native American chick huge. And then the strategy guide said that would be much fun for him. And then he's like, oh, okay. I'm just like, sure.
I agree. That would be much fun.
I understand why you chose me for this role.
He thought it was really funny once I explained, no, see, in the lore of the jokes we're making throughout that episode of the podcast, we just think you're running into new fetishes and being like, oh, that's a great idea for a game. And you could tell he legitimately got that was funny. Like, that was the best part.
Yeah. Friend of the show, David Jaffe.
No, see, this gets hilarious because I was already planning on a Twisted Metal armchair devs. Now it just gets weird. Like, fuck, you might listen to it.
Yeah, I started as soon as that happened. I'm like, we're gonna do
Dr. Aggro guy. I hate him.
We're gonna do a Twisted Metal thing, and I'm gonna pull out all the stops for that.
Oh, this is doomed. At least one person's crossing it over with Drawn to Death.
Okay, so the main character of Drawn to Death, the person whose imagination it all takes place, is a young Needles Kane. For those who don't know, Needles Kane is Marcus Kane's alter ego, Sweet Tooth. We're gonna make this all make sense. Just stick around.
I hate you.
No, I'll be fine.
For some reason I thought Sweet Tooth was like a demon.
Seeing everything in monochrome.
It's really complicated. All of Twisted Metal Black takes place within Sweet Tooth's brain. It's so fucking weird. Anyway, let's not.
I was about to ask, is that Kino?
It's pretty Kino, I'm gonna be honest. But some of
Bob,
the
is it Kino?
some of the censorship.
I haven't played all of it.
Some of the censorship
okay.
stuff that came out on Twisted Metal Black right before release made some of the storylines not make sense. They're like, you can't have this person abuse their daughter. Like, you can't have them put them in this fucked up mask because you can't have a dad do that to a child in a video game. They're like, well, we already did all the cutscenes and we only have a few months left. What do you want us to do? And they're like, make it someone other than the dad. And I'm like, oh my God. So this chick works for a guy and he does that? And it was like as a teenager, I'm playing this game and I'm like, man, that's really weird. Why would someone's employer lock them up in this mask? This doesn't make sense in horror tropes. This doesn't make sense in general. And then recently it came out, yeah, no, Sony didn't want a dad to do that to their child, so they just made it their boss. It's like, what the fuck is going on? Anyway, let's talk about Stadia.
Do we have to?
Okay, so here's the first thing I'm going to tell you about Stadia. There are many things me and Bob need to tell you because I made sure Bob got to play it for about 20 minutes.
Okay.
My favorite thing about Stadia is there is a Stadia button, and you use this button to escape video games, okay?
What?
You use this button to
quit the game.
To quit the game in theory. You can't bring up your home menu while you're playing the game, so you hold that button and you select exit game, okay? Okay. The second, and I mean the second it realizes you're holding that down to quit the game, it shits its pants. Bitrate wise, because it's like the dude who stops sucking in his fat fucking gut. It just goes, thank God, he doesn't give a shit anymore, and the whole screen becomes JPEG noise. It's so amazing.
You're just looking like at this normal looking guy, and he just goes, ugh, and like you can see his navel, and it flops out over his belt. It's fucking horrible.
That's basically how it goes. And the best part is it still takes a few seconds for the menu to pop up. So the second you push and hold that button, for less than 1 whole second, you push and hold that button, you get to see Destiny 2 just as a fucking radical nightmare of JPEG artifacts.
What, you don't like playing games at 144p on YouTube?
No, I don't. So I
bet that game's good for Stadia. Were you able to get some matches in the Crucible in?
This morning I was not able to do that. I was able to do that.
What?
I was able to do that twice in a row in the afternoon, but that was it.
I did it once. I was able to find those other 11 people who own a Stadia.
Yeah, on launch day. I guess we're going to have the discussion, though. I just thought I would bring up the funniest thing so that way, there was an amusing anecdote up front, and now I get to talk about Stadia. The Stadia cost me $130.
Oh my God.
It comes with a controller that Mad Cats would be ashamed to put out, and 3 months of a pro membership. Hey, Bob, ask me the most important question.
What do you get with the pro membership?
I get to have Destiny 2 a free game.
That's the only free game?
I also get to have a decent bit rate, Bob.
Don't you get Samurai Shodown?
Yes, at the last second they added that.
Okay. Which is
Here's the thing though.
Why would you add Samurai Showdown?
That's what I played first.
Here's your
Now
Superman
can make videos about it.
Here's your Superman welcome package. Why is Kryptonite in here? I don't know. I just figured you might want to kill me. just figured. Yeah, I have no fucking idea why I have no idea why Sam Show's in there. That's fucking nuts. It's like if you were at a knife fight and you handed someone a gun.
It feels worse than that first demo they put out that had the massive amount of lag in Samurai Shodown.
Yeah, It feels worse than the pre-fixing the input lag demo. It is.
Yeah, I bet. That was only like, what, 8 frames?
Yeah.
I think it was like 12. I remember registering is like one of the worst ones they tested in a long while.
It was.
Yeah, but they didn't reduce it. They reduced it by like around 8 though. So like, no shit, this feels worse.
So there's a lot going on here that needs to be talked about. The controller, as I just mentioned, feels like the newer Mad Catz era, recent era, remotely recent era. They would have been ashamed to put it out. The L2 and R2 buttons, the only resistance you have on it is like one of those really cheap resistance springs where it's a thin wire of metal wrapped around a thing, one end pushed one way, one end pushed the other, and then if you try to squeeze it, it squeezes that, and that's the resistance. That's it. There's no spring in it. There's no fancy system other than that. That's the only thing that resists you pushing L2 and R2. So L2 and R2 feel like fucking garbage. The D-pad also, and I did not expect this at all, feels terrible. Like, I have no idea what's up with this controller. They put so much more engineering into making sure you couldn't open the controller than making the controller feel good, because there were no outward facing screws on this controller. They tell you do not open the controller. So Gamers Nexus did a teardown. It involved a Dremel saw.
What?
They fucking
A Dremel saw.
Yeah, they
Like a
fucking
little tiny saw.
It's a tiny circular saw. They just fucking sawed open the side so they could rip it open, because they've done teardowns of countless controllers. They could not get this fucker open.
That's insane.
Imagine a dental saw, KZ. Like a dental saw.
Ooh.
So it's like completely nuts. They open it up. It turns out this is, manufactured fucking concepts, but on the inside of a lot of products, the way they're held together are like clips, internal plastic braces, basically, that interlock and then clip into place. And if you could slide a flathead screwdriver in there, you could push it out of the clip and it would come apart. They had 8 of those, and there was no way to slip a flathead in there to push it apart. And for some reason, there's a completely rigid inside plate where everything is screwed to it instead of the controller. Because if they screwed it to the shell of the controller, then there would be outward facing screws. They spent so much time and effort trying to make this thing seem like an Apple product. Like, the box is completely white with minimalist text. It comes with plastic layers inside of the white box that are molded, shaped around the controller, and all this feel-good fucking bullshit. I took multiple screen caps on my phone of how the app says multiple different gamer bullshit phrases while it's setting shit up. I'm gonna read some of them.
Oh, thank you.
No!
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
I'll react as it makes me feel.
I'm gonna. Okay, I took 2 pictures. I should have taken more because it just, I kept doing a thing over and over and it kept coming up with new ones and I wanted to die. This is just with linking your Google account, this stage, okay? And these messages stay up for a really long time. So they stole from The Sims and they said reticulating splines. That always pisses me off because it's like The Sims, fucking come on, man. What do you... this one made me think Feel would get infuriated. Chasing the cryptids. I just, they had so many of these pop up and I was so fucking tired of it. It was so exhausting. Like, it said leveling up one time. It's so bad. It just.
So it's all like sub Discord tier.
It's, no, the Discord stuff doesn't bug me nearly as much as this did. So you get it set up. Here's how you set up your Stadia. You get a tiny hockey puck size thing that has an HDMI cable on it and a USB, not C, but USB micro on the other side of it.
Of course.
So they realized at some point Wi-Fi wasn't going to work. Weirdly enough, the AC adapter has an Ethernet port. So you're supposed to run an Ethernet cable to the AC adapter wart on your power strip.
What?
And then you run a USB USB mini or micro from that to the hockey puck, which is the Chromecast Ultra, and then you plug that into the HDMI of your TV. You also have the controller. You need 2 different apps to set up these 2 objects. So you need to install these 2 apps on your phone because by themselves, they do shit. Jack fucking shit.
How does it even come to this point? How does they have 2 apps? That's insane.
When you plug the fucking Chromecast Ultra into your TV, it says, set up the Google Home app on your phone in order to begin setup. When you open the Stadia box, it tells you to go and get these 2 separate apps. One of them to set up and then update the controller, and the other one to set up and then update the Chromecast Ultra.
I thought they didn't have an update for the Chromecast to make it work yet. I thought it was supposed to ship with that.
No, the Chromecast Ultra is the thing it ships with. That's the thing that's in this box.
Right, yeah, but if they have an update that you can download, why can't you download that for your existing Chromecast Ultra?
Because there's probably a minor hardware difference, which might be why this thing feels as hot as a fucking stove once it starts going.
I was about to say there are reports of it just shutting off because there's no active cooling in it at all.
Dude, I am not overselling this. I played Destiny for an hour and put my hand on it, and it literally felt like putting my thumb on a fucking stovetop. Like, it gets way too hot to be safe. I have no idea what they were thinking. But anyway, so you get these things set up. You hook both the Google Home app and the Stadia app up to your Google account. So I used a burner because fuck them. Fuck them. Anyway, you get it set up. You can't browse the store on the Stadia. You have to use the Stadia app on your phone to buy or download and claim games. As I mentioned, Stadia Pro comes with 2 games. It comes with I should mention why you can't do that on the Stadia itself, the Chromecast Ultra itself. The Home OS for Stadia runs on the Chromecast itself. It is a potato. It doesn't have enough power to run a web page. So the Chromecast Ultra, its OS for Stadia is a giant picture of whatever game you played last with a play button over it. And right below that, tiny pictures of games you own. And then an icon that says, if you want to go to the store, use your phone.
This is more pathetic than Nintendo funneling their online chat to your phone.
Yeah, no, that's insane. This is to go beyond that. So as I said before, the Pro gets you your free copy of Samurai Shodown, and it lets you play Destiny 2, the collection. Now, according to the phrasing in Google's own text, if my Stadia Pro subscription lapses, guess what, Bob?
What's up?
I lose Sam Show. It's
forever?
gone. If it lapses, I no longer have that claim.
What if you renew later? What if you miss it?
It sounds like it's gone.
What?
That's insane.
They want you locked in.
That's insane.
So here are the other things that having Stadia Pro gets me. You guys ready?
Yes.
Instead of spending $40 on Final Fantasy 15, a fucking old ass game, I get to spend $30.
Oh, but Dan, it has new content that no other version has because Google and Square Enix are fucking insane.
Allow me to tell you the new content that was added to Final Fantasy 15 exclusively on Stadia.
Please, Stadia Sword.
Your flying car can have a magnet to pick up shit, and then you fly to a location and drop it to get points.
Sounds fucking horrible. That sounds like something I would pay to have removed from Final Fantasy 15.
They have exclusive super bosses that they just ripped from their multiplayer thing and dropped them onto the map so you can fight those now.
I'm sure those are balanced great.
Yeah, it's like, hey, and no other version, no other...
Don't worry, in 3 months we'll see him on the other versions, I'm sure.
Bob, I'm losing it because I told Eric earlier, I was like, I don't want to buy any games on this, but I need to buy something and play it that isn't Destiny or Sam Show. It would be fucking absurd to buy any of these, but now that he's saying that Final Fantasy 15 has some exclusive content,
man, if you let your
all of this sounds like post-game content, Dan.
Yeah, it does.
You'd have to play through that game.
Do you like the Regalia Type D, which is a monster truck? Because you get a new mode where it's super monster truck races with big jumps.
See, this sounds incredible. I don't see what everyone's negative about. Thanks, Google.
And the other exclusive mode, Endless Magitech armor, where you can put on your armor that in the game made you invincible. Now you just have it forever.
Old man comes out of the back of the shop. What's that? Console exclusive content. Sounds like you got scroogled.
Okay. I mean, that works for Dan. He can buy that game, put on the always invincible armor, and just charge through the game, not giving a shit.
Dan, when's our Final Fantasy 15 and one sitting on Stadia stream?
Oh my God! They're fucking. Oh no, Dan, you can't do that, KZ. Because Dan, what happened when you tried to upload a podcast?
Well, thank you, Phil, for the transition. I tried to upload a 300 megabyte podcast to YouTube while a very low quality 720p 30 frame per second video played on YouTube. So that's basically no bandwidth at all. And Stadia shit its pants. It just crashed the fuck out of the game.
Dan, didn't you get the pamphlet where it says, okay, you better not let your family watch Netflix or use any internet at all?
Well, Bob, you need to understand.
Who is this for?
I
what
uploaded
fucking circumstances?
I uploaded a 300 megabyte file to YouTube, and YouTube lets me upload at the full speed. And obviously, if YouTube lets me upload at the full speed, Stadia has no speed left to let me do anything at. What the fuck?
If you can't do anything else with the internet when you're playing Stadia, what fucking good is it at all?
Dude, that is only part of the problem. Did you know you can't use this shit on phones unless it's two phones that Google makes themselves?
Yes.
I can't use this on my phone.
I was aware of that.
Okay, here's the next layer. You can use it on your PC, sure. But it is running in a Google Chrome window. It never goes full screen. So the input latency inherent in Windows is stacked on top of Stadia's shitty input latency, and the mouse and keyboard controls are fucking terrible because the way they're polling the mouse is wrong. It's insane, guys. Like, I've never played a game with a mouse before that felt this insanely wrong, because it's not just that it has a ton of input latency. That is a thing, and it's there. But it's also like, it feels like they're accumulating the different amounts you've moved the mouse into really weird packets and sending them off in bursts. So it literally looks stuttery when you aim. Like, it's fucking nuts.
That
and it
sounds like it would give me motion sickness.
It makes no sense. I don't know how they did it. It just feels so fucking wrong. And for people who are wondering why it being in a Chrome window matters, normally video games have a full screen mode for Windows so it can have less input lag. That's impossible because they built it into Google Chrome instead of building a bespoke Windows app. Because they're Google and they think this is good enough. And they're wrong. Quite frankly, they're fucking wrong. I have this thing set for the highest image quality it can possibly do, okay? Bob was here. Now, Bob, would you say those games even looked like 720p?
Not really, no. Like, Destiny 2 was super fuzzy.
Like, what the fuck is the point of the idea that, like, part of Stadia Pro is supposed to get me access to higher resolutions and bit rates? It's supposed to be HDR. The thing looks blurrier than burst limit. Like, that's how bad it is.
Hey, don't invoke the name of God.
Look, I'm just saying, if you want to bring up games that are blurry, talk about early PS3 360 games.
I mean, we were talking about how it looks similar to the PS3 version of Destiny.
Yeah.
Like, just running well, but being incredibly fuzzy.
Yeah.
This thing claims it works at 4K.
Yeah, it does. It definitely upscales the footage to 4K.
It is 4K. We upscaled this 480p video to 4K.
Like
yeah,
the
that's
Xbox One S.
That's basically what it's doing. In fact, some of the 4K modes, it's just upscaling 1440p. Digital Foundry did some pixel counting.
So it'll look fine once we finish our waifu 2x algorithm to upscale it as you play.
Can you imagine the person that's super into Stadia somehow and goes, let me go in the store and pick up the Assassin's Creed Odyssey bundle that's $120.
Yeah, that exists. It's on the front page. It's telling me to buy it right now, but it's also telling me there's a Stadia Pro deal to get Assassin's Creed Odyssey for only $30.
Can you imagine Ubisoft open game lag plus Stadia lag plus Windows lag?
Yes, I have suicidal ideation all the time. I can imagine that scenario you've described.
That's true. He's had this on the podcast.
I just can't fucking. It's. What is the okay? So I'm gonna talk about one thing before talking about other things, and I sincerely want to hear. Maybe I'm crazy. What is the fucking point of promoting your machine as a 10 teraflop juggernaut of processing power when you can't make a game look good, period? When your game doesn't even look 1080p, when it looks sub 720p because every pixel's fucking smoothed over. Fucking Destiny 2 can't even lock 60 frames per second. And even if it could, it is so blurry. All of those
Red Dead 2 isn't even running at 4K. It's running at 1080.
Yeah, you can select two different modes through weird arbitrary menu decisions. One of them's 1080p 60 for Red Dead, and the other one's 1440p 30. There is no 4K mode for fucking Red Dead. Destiny 2, no matter what you choose, is 1080p 60. And it just... So, Destiny, think... KZ, close your eyes.
Okay.
You remember the HUD in Destiny, how it's a lot of transparencies and fine lines of white details, and like, here's your number in the lower left, and you're in outer space. Here's your clan flag in the upper right, and your stats and stuff.
My cool ship.
Yeah, it's real cool. So every gradient in the background, including outer space and the atmosphere, looks like macro blocked bullshit. All the fine white details are covered in JPEG artifacts. Everything's smoothing over. And then you press and hold the Stadia button, and the whole screen becomes JPEG noise.
No.
Does it just make us one of those like floppy drive locking up sounds like you use a lot?
It should do that every time you hold the Stadia button.
It really
Does it make that noise that the Wii made when it crashes?
That would be real great.
So I saw Giant Bomb describe Red Dead Redemption 2's intro, where the blizzard comes in while they're riding on the horse, and they just said it blocks everywhere. It cannot handle this at all.
No, I can't.
Yeah, just a bunch of particles showing up in Destiny is already terrible.
Yeah, because
imagine the whole screen just that.
Destiny's full of particle effects. You're doing supers. You're throwing out like, energy balls that explode into tinier energy balls, sending sparks everywhere. You do that anywhere near a dark space, you can't fucking see.
Yeah, like finishing a strike at the very end just makes the game shit its pants.
It's so bad, man. It's
money well spent.
I mean, we're gonna cover it on the channel, so in that sense, yes. If I can buy it and help people have the knowledge and experience of owning it via the proxy of our videos, then it'll be worth it for me.
It's the channel Stadia.
Dan, you didn't talk about the audio yet.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not.
Oh, of course, this isn't the end. This is just the breather.
No, I was just setting us up for halftime show. If anyone needs to go to the bathroom.
Stream goal, twice as much as the Stadia and whatever game you buy costs. Goal, make Dan stop feeling regret.
It's so nuts. Like, I'm supposed to buy a version of Tomb Raider Definitive Edition that only exists in the cloud. A game that's 6 years old.
Yeah, how much is Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, Dan?
Well, Bob, I'm lucky. I'm a part of Stadia Pro, so it's only $10 instead of $20.
Dan, that lost to 20 when it came out 4 years ago.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Well, Bob, let's talk about...
I got it on a Steam sale for $3.
Yeah.
That game's 6 years old.
Uh-huh.
And that wasn't even in their initial launch. That was in the, oh, fuck, we're dying, Scoob. And then they added 10 games. And they're like, we got this game that's over half a decade old.
It'll be funny if those run even worse because they weren't totally figured out.
It's upsetting. It looks so bad. It feels like on PC, it is unreal how bad it feels. Like if you're using this in a Chrome window, it makes Destiny 2, the PC version basically, because it's running at 60 frames per second, it makes Destiny 2 feel like it's Killzone 2. There's so much fucking input lag. Here's the amazing part. Like you're like Dan,
Breakpoint.
You're like, Dan, that's ridiculous. There's no way. I touched the controller and played it this morning before Bob got up. And I was like, holy shit, this feels like fucking Killzone 2. It feels so bad with all this latency. Bob comes down. He starts getting ready for work and getting awoke and shit. And I'm like, hey, Bob, before you go, you need to try this. He plays it for like 3 seconds and he's like, this feels like Killzone 2. I didn't say shit and he immediately left.
No.
It feels so fucking bad. And this is on the Ethernet. We have a fucking Ethernet cable running to it. This is a best case scenario.
What if the Ethernet makes it run worse?
No, there's no way. I guarantee you if I put it on Wi-Fi, it would just absolutely shit its pants.
What if it's some fucked up thing like running a wireless controller wired where it's just worse somehow?
It starts overheating, and then because of the overheating, it doesn't work right.
Get me hype.
It's so unreasonable. It's like they're sitting there saying this is a juggernaut, powerful machine that's just going to be able to take on the next gen consoles, and it's so much better than what's here now. But it provably has more input latency. It doesn't have a single sharp pixel, so what does the resolution even fucking matter? Like, shit, man, this thing sucks. It doesn't work on phones, except for the Google Pixel and the other Google Pixel. And then the Windows version feels like garbage. I don't understand what the value was supposed to be here. And clearly, shit's going pretty, as they say, pear-shaped for Stadia because pre-orders were, according to Jason Schreier, way under what Google's goals were, which I would like to... No shit. It didn't sell out once in the last, 6 months.
I'm going to take a very, very less than 1% credit for that. Everybody who shit-talked Stadia constantly on Twitter should also take credit for that. Fuck this thing.
Yeah, fuck this thing.
I like that they're like, this is way under expected, and then they had to go, oh, we didn't make enough of these because they're selling out so much. It's that bad.
Also, fuck everybody who seems to think that the bar of success for this thing is didn't set their house on fire. I'm seeing so much of that shit, and it drives me up a wall. The question isn't does this thing work? The question is does this thing have a justification for existing? And the answer is no.
Like, here's the thing, right? It costs $130. Another controller would cost, I think, $60. It costs $10 a month to get Pro, and then I need to buy games on top of that.
$10 a month?
$10 a fucking month!
Do they have a yearly plan that's like 60 or anything? Because this isn't offering the value of something like Game Pass or Netflix.
It's not. It's really not.
And I'm pretty sure Game Pass itself is
I
like
can buy Final Fantasy
$15.
15 at a value.
I can save $10 by spending $10.
Bob, could you imagine if PlayStation Plus debuted at $10 a month?
Out, Bob.
Oh man, that's dizzying.
If you're out there thinking I could spend $10 a month on Stadia, whatever, I want you to take that money and head on over to patreon.com/gbpodcast. It will have more inherent value.
Yeah, it will.
You will get things, and the things that release will work, probably.
It's nuts. It's fucking nuts. Also, this thing, it fucks audio so hard. It fucks audio so hard, the audio should get a restraining order. That is how bad this is. It is absolutely insanely terrible sounding to the point where I'm like, Maybe Destiny 2 just sounds like shit. I know Destiny 1 sounded fine. Maybe Destiny 2 just sounds like shit. Maybe I just don't even know. Destiny 2 shipped with broken sound effects.
I'm sure that's it, Dan.
It's so bad. Bob, you fire a shotgun in that game, I don't even know how to describe it. It sounds so awful. Like, so many different elements in it just sound like fucking garbage. And they're sitting here while their audio sounds terrible in stereo, and they're like 5.1 surround sound. They're sitting here with their fucking 1080p. Technically, it's a 4K feed. They consider this it running in 4K, and they're saying like it's a 4K resolution, but it doesn't even look like 720p because there are no sharp pixels. The thing has no detail at all. If the room in Destiny is remotely dark, it smooths over every fucking detail in the environment.
It's not like Destiny 2 has dark environments, is it?
That wizard came from the moon.
Bob, how do you feel about the moon?
Is it just like a giant mass of crushed blacks?
It's not that bad, but imagine you're in a cave and there's a rock floor and there are rocks on the floor, but because it's fucking Stadia, if you're moving, there's a nothing on the floor and there's just blobs everywhere. And it's like, this is nuts. Why are they charging this? Why? Also, Bob, from what I'm seeing, no, there's no yearly thing.
That's insane.
They charge you $10 a month, twice as much as PlayStation Plus. And it gives you jack shit, basically. It gives you things you should take for granted.
Yeah, that's
things like resolution and bit rate.
So wait, what resolution would it offer you if you weren't using Pro? And you somehow owned the game?
I'm glad you asked, Bob. I'm gonna post this image into the Discord, and I'll go ahead and mark this podcast, KZ. That way you can cut that image into the video if people care. Here's a cool diagram showing you what Stadia Pro is versus Stadia Base, which doesn't exist, by the way. It doesn't exist, but next year, Stadia Base will exist. Stadia Pro is a part of the Founders Edition, lucky me, and I get 3 months of it.
Buy games whenever you want. Sure.
Hold on. I like the idea. Where is their membership plan that says buy games whenever you want? No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Thank you for this fucking honor.
Yeah.
Bonus round of gamer premonitions. Will they not have Stadia Base ready by the time those free 3 months run out? And will it just fucking quit working if you don't continue as a pro? Yes or no? Dan.
This is complicated. They're not going to offer Stadia Base to new purchasers, but the console itself will go into a Stadia Base mode. So it will exist, kind of, except for no one but the founders get to utilize it. If that makes sense to people.
I'm going to go ahead and entertain the worst case scenario. your Stadia Pro runs out, it literally just bricks.
I mean,
it tries to boot. The base doesn't exist. It bricks.
Let's be real, Bob. I'll be lucky if that thing doesn't light the TV on fire in the next 3 months.
We have it on a glass base. Yeah, okay.
It melts.
KZ.
I'm so devastated because mine was gonna be yes, it will do that, but it doesn't matter. 5 to 10% of Stadia owners will have their console brick before the 3 months are over because of major hardware failures.
I'm gonna say that if that when your 3 months run out, it will just go re-up to do anything.
Yeah, I could. It seems possible. Oh God.
Yeah, I mean, any other company, I would be confident in being like, no, they'll extend it out. They'll just be like, oh, well, it's another 3 months on us until we get this figured out. Like Nintendo did that sort of thing while they were trying to get the online working. But yeah, no, Stadia, Google wouldn't do that.
I had an incident while playing Stadia. I needed to stop doing something to do something on my phone, so I put down the Stadia controller. Okay, and I fucked with what was on my phone, and then I reached out and picked up what I thought was the Stadia controller, but it was actually the Xbox Elite controller, and I started wild cackling over how much better that felt as a controller. I fucking lost my mind in that moment. Where I was just like, what am I thinking? Holding this decent controller. I need to pick up the Play School controller to play this fucking console.
Man, I love Leapfrog.
It's just, and the thing was like, Eric came over to check it out, and I was like, hey,
God.
I was like, hey Eric, I know you're not an Xbox guy, but here, hold the base model Xbox controller. And he's like, yeah, this is a vastly more refined feeling controller. Like, it is clearly the work of professionals, unlike the Stadia controller, which is a confounding mess of a thing. Like, the buttons feel terrible.
It's a step above the Ouya controller. That's it.
That's about it.
Oh,
I wonder if Rocco Bodie got his Stadia yet. I wonder how long until we get to see the video of him peeing on it.
Yes!
I'm so
so excited.
For those who don't know, Rocco Bodie peed on the Ouya, and then recently in a poll was like, should I pee on the Stadia? People were like, yeah, of course, it's the Ouya 2. And it really is. Like, I need to stress this. This is the Ouya 2. It's just a giant corporation duped a bunch of game publishers into putting shit on it. That's the only difference.
Instead of just duping indie devs, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sad that the person who was like, people need to grow up. Google doesn't shut down everything. They're not going to shut this down. It's stupid to be worried about that. I'm sad they don't have a Twitter so that when they shut this down in 2 years, I can rub it in their face.
What do they mean Google doesn't shut down everything? Google does shut down basically everything.
They said I use Gmail and Google Calendar all the time. So obviously people afraid this is going to shut down.
I'm going to
foolish.
shit my fucking pants.
Those are their only products, right?
Yeah, that's correct. This is, of course, brought to you by StadiaCountdown.com, which says 1,457 days until Google Stadia shuts down.
It will not last that long.
As per the Google Cemetery.
Here's a secret into Mr. Feel's life. I get my phone service from Google. I use a Project Fee. I am constantly expecting to wake up and be told, you have like a month to get a new phone provider.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah. So, gentlemen, we need to make some premonitions about how long Google Stadia is going to last. I'll go first. Google Stadia will absolutely, positively not make it one whole year into the next-gen console launch. So 1 year from whichever of the two major consoles launches, it will not make it there. It will shut down less than a year from then. So I'm talking November 2021, I expect it to be shut down by. Bob?
I don't think it's going to even make it to the next-gen consoles. I feel like there's going to, if nothing else, no games will be coming to it. Yeah, it's 1 year. I think that no games will be coming to it by next November, and then by 6 months from then, it will just be completely shut down. Like, that's what I feel like.
So you think absolutely all games stop flowing in within a year, but it still makes it 6 more months?
Yeah, I think that Google is still like, it's going, it's fine.
Yeah, no, they're pulling the Simpsons thing. 100%. They're a Silicon Valley company that's just spent way too much on this. They got Phil Harrison and Jade Raymond. They are absolutely pulling the Simpsons thing of, it's fine, just a little sewagey, it's still fine.
Just a little airborne, it's still good.
So, Phil, when are you thinking?
They will shut Google Stadia down entirely, as in it will no longer be accessible. March 2022. They will cut it off right before the new fiscal year starts. And they want and they don't want that fucking millstone around their neck anymore.
KZ.
It will be shut down before the launch of PS5.
Okay. Well, we've all got some numbers on this. Oh my god.
You're like, man, there's a lot of hope in here.
I mean, Phil thinks it's gonna last 2 years.
I'm optimistic about their failure.
Bob, Phil thinks it's gonna last 2 years and 4 months.
I know. Insane.
This is when you can no longer access it. I think Bob's right, and by the time the new consoles come out, new games are just done.
I think that's right too. I think they're going to be zero sales out of this, and since their only clientele is giant corporations, largely Square Enix, I would like to note. getting duped into doing this, they're screwed.
Yeah.
I think the Final Fantasy 15 content is the most hilarious exclusive ever because all of it looks terrible.
Well, it's like it's
it all looks terrible and drag and drop content, which makes sense. They canceled everything. They had a level and AI creator planned for the PC version, and they dropped that shit.
That there is no longer a Final Fantasy 15 team.
Yeah.
Are you guys excited for Marvel Avengers Stadia exclusive content?
Have they announced that?
No.
Okay, I wouldn't put it past them. And for those who haven't...
Sony got the exclusive on that one, I believe.
For those who haven't finished the mental exercise, Stadia is 100% dependent on every game going crossplay because Destiny 2, by the end of the week, will not be able to match a Crucible match, I imagine.
What the fuck? I hate crossplay now.
Even if they have crossplay, like no one
you're such a disadvantage.
You're
Jesus.
spending the same amount of money to have a game that's laggier and looks worse. I have a PS4 vanilla that is 1,000 times better than a fucking Stadia.
Yeah, it's so weird to see the game. Like the game ran at 60. It looked smooth, and then everything about the movement was terrible.
That and the fucking graphics preset is medium.
Yeah.
Like it's the PC's medium setting. And they're out here talking about how big dick their fucking console is. It's 1080p on medium
Meanwhile,
setting.
your Chromecast is melting on the fucking thing.
Yes. And here's the thing I am so excited to talk about. I don't think I've mentioned it yet. Destiny 2 is basically their flagship example of what this platform's capable of. Google actually integrated their engineers into Bungie's team to port it. Can you fucking imagine Bungie having to deal with this shit in the middle of all the way more important shit they have going on? And then this launch happens and they go, we fucking knew it. We dealt with those
I just imagine that being
so
like
long.
one Google guy is there and he's like, can you do magic? And they try to say, no, we can't. And he's like, oh, 1 second. And he goes into the bathroom. You hear fucking snorting and he comes out rubbing his nose and is like, okay, so you can do it, right?
This is it, right? Is this the Doom account? What?
Bob, you said something. Was he? No, maybe it was Eric. I can't remember if it was you or Eric who said it. I'm pretty sure it was Eric. I'm really sure it was Eric. But it was something along the lines of, this is a really amazing, terrible magic trick.
Yeah, that must have been Eric.
It's just like, it's the most amazing trick in the world. It's so fucking boring. It looks like shit. You still sit there and wonder, wow, how did they do this? But then your immediate thought is, this is fucking terrible.
Man, I got to skip the installing phase, but now everything about the playing phase is back.
So
what's
about
the point?
skipping the installing phase, I expected the loading to go faster, but booting games takes time. They made it sound like they have like machine states, like virtual RAM states that you immediately boot into and you're in the game. But it takes a while to boot these fucking games, so I don't know what the fuck that was about. Also, I guarantee these games load faster on PC. So when these next-gen consoles come around and they have less input lag than this gen, they load way faster than this shit, and they have these things, kind of important. They're called pixels. I think the Stadia is going to look like an absolute joke. I know it already looks like a joke, but it's just going to be fucking unreal. And
It's going to be so funny when they're going to have, the next consoles are going to have better input latency, so Stadia is only going to look worse.
It already looks worse. For those who don't know, it has 3.5 frames more lag. It's about 3 frames more lag than the console versions, let alone the PC version.
It feels so much worse than that too. So it's probably fluctuating constantly.
Oh yeah, it's constantly in flux. Yeah.
How are they going to do like crossplay for this thing? Like, how is that? How do the Stadia
users don't have rights?
Oh, so it's just, yeah, you're going to get your asshole destroyed, but whatever.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, trying to play a first-person shooter on there is nightmarish.
It was terrible. It took me over 2 hours, over an hour and a half at bare minimum, to get used to the huge amount of latency. Like, it just feels like shit. Anyway, that's an insight into owning a Stadia. I have no idea how they're expecting people to pay $130 and then $10 a month for the right to, well, let me read that again. buy games whenever I want.
No, Dan, that one's on both.
I'm never able to buy games whenever I want. All right.
The other one offers up to 1080p.
Sony and Microsoft are dictators. They don't let me buy games whenever I want.
Yeah, they turn away
I mean,
my
that would
audio
be
all
I
the
was
time.
just talking about being poor, but yes, that's
Yeah, that would be a great feature if they just meant, oh, it's okay if you don't have any money.
We know
Dan,
you're good for it. What's up, Bob?
Before you move on, you didn't talk about the audio lag. God damn it.
What?
So the audio lags behind the video like that fucking Sega Genesis emulator console that came out earlier this year by like 7 or 8 fucking frames. And it is so obvious Eric noticed immediately.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you hit the gun button. You shoot, they pull the trigger. You see the shot go. A second later, it's like, bang. Like, what?
Yeah, Bob also noticed immediately. It is so fucking apparent. It's like, what in the fuck? Here's how bad it is. My game crashed once today because of uploading that podcast. It pops up with a questionnaire and it goes, "How was your experience?" And I said, it was bad. And it goes, "Why?" 3 of the things you can fill in are the audio's desynced from the video, but phrased differently. God. Fuck. It's not a good experience. And it's going to be a worse experience for Google if, that thing that's been talked about a lot recently of an online adpocalypse, like a complete fucking decimation of online advertising revenue disappears. Because I swear to God, this is their desperate attempt to get a stable revenue for the future, and it does not look good at all. So much of their fucking company is based on that, and they need something to diversify.
Dan, one other thing.
Yeah, what's up?
Say if we tried to stream us playing Stadia.
Yeah.
How do you think that would go?
Bob, by now it is past Friday. They can know how that went.
Great.
But you know what? They get to experience the expectations of current Dan. Bob, I expect it's going to be a nightmare, but it probably won't make it fully crash too often. Because we're gonna limit our upload speed to like 3 or 4 megabits per or megabytes per second, whereas when I tried to upload that 300 megabyte podcast, it just filled the whole fucking pipe and Stadia went, "Ah, shit!" It crashed.
Well, it's a really good thing that a lot of marketing doesn't depend on streamers playing your thing.
Well, Bob, here's the thing: you don't understand. This is their brilliant wisdom. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Get ready to open up your mind's eye, you dumb shit, because you're about to see the future.
It's like waking up from the dream.
Exactly. Bob.
Yeah.
The idea that
You are going to play on your Stadia, and the servers at Google will stream that to YouTube and YouTube alone for you. So you can stream playing your game on YouTube Gaming, the #1 home for gaming live streams on the internet on YouTube.
Oh, okay. With that qualifier, it all checks out.
It is a good thing. There is absolutely nothing a live streamer would need to overlay over the fucking gameplay footage, like a stream goal or chat or anything, because Google will handle it for us. And fuck you. You will take what we have given you here at Google.
I have a premonition for your stream that will have already happened
Okay.
by the time this comes out. It will shit its pants so hard to the point where streaming isn't feasible, and then you will text us saying, "Hey, you want to play Smash?"
God, I hope. I'd much rather play.
Yeah, I don't expect-
I hope it's bad.
I have absolutely zero expectation of it working. It will not work. Or it will work so reprehensibly that you can't do it for more than an hour. Like you'll go through an hour of it being like literal over a second of input lag and constantly buffering and be like, "You guys saw it. That's enough."
We could just stream the Stadia homepage.
You mean the Stadia JPEG?
Yes. What did I say?
We're streaming a Chrome tab.
I did that earlier. I had to add Chrome to Discord's games. So that way the Discord could stream fucking Stadia.
Kind of raw.
It's so fucking awful. You know what isn't awful though?
What's that?
The Podlords.
Oh, thank God it's the Podlords.
Oh, the Podlords have come to save us from Stadia.
Oh my
And
god.
that guy asleep next to the servers.
Granted, I'm afraid of their names, but yeah, let's do this.
Podlords such
I
as
know the David Jaffe thing.
Danny Richardson, Notgak, E. Lee Broyles, Dandy Cageford, the Junior Bacon Cheeseburger of Podlords, Dank.
Acceptable.
Mormons, Red Blaze 27, Team Galactic Admin Jucifer, Suzu Shiro, Emperor Zero, Sheep Heavenly, David Jaffe, Giantess Fetish Connoisseur,
Oh, God.
Raihan is a fool, but goddamn did they make him hot.
Yeah, they sure did.
Man.
Moon Muse Entertainment Studio. Help me talk to this cute girl at my college who likes Dragon Quest. Have you considered dressing as Trunks?
Oh, damn.
Ape Grape Scion. Mr. God damn it, this is stupid. Mr. Field doesn't know what a video game is.
That's true.
The only actual unironic Gary Busey stan.
Yeah.
I'm not putting
Here.
you on screen again, but I like you.
Yeah, but I still have to look at it. Foolishness, Mr. Feel. Foolishness. Height controls everything.
Okay.
Thank you
So bad,
very
fucking
much
seething over here.
to our Podlords.
Thank you, Podlord.
Thank you, Podlord.
Thank you, Podlords.
You know, I didn't see any Milo stands in the Podlords, and I'm sad. Raihan got someone, but Milo didn't. Someone on the fucking GigaBoots voice channel in the Discord said Milo was too ripped. What the fuck? Milo is exactly ripped enough. He in fact forms one whole unit. So there was some news this week that came out about Stadia from a press sneak fuck.
Is it the deletion date for it?
Oh, you were supposed to put this in yours. How is there still more?
Yeah, I was supposed to do that, wasn't I? I just wanted to go over some of the.
God.
What's wrong, Casey? What's the issue?
Go into it, because I have a press sneak fuck thing that I'll roll into my BioWare minute, or BioWare 30 minutes, considering what all is in there.
BioWare millennia.
They aren't going to live that long.
Oh.
Yeah, they are. You're just bitter. Big hater.
You're just jealous, said man about thing that doesn't make sense for.
Correct.
Let's see. I'm trying to find it.
God damn it.
I thought someone else would have it. I didn't see it.
No.
You didn't see it. I didn't see it.
Maybe it's not news.
What if it's not real? What if all of this is happening in Sweet Tooth's mind?
I wish Sweet Tooth would edit this podcast.
I don't think he's gonna do that for you, man.
That fucking sucks.
That's it, Dan.
I'm still not finding it. We can move on to other things.
I'll send a link.
What?
Be that.
What? Oh, did he? I'm in a completely different window. I didn't.
Oh, Phil put a thing, the big thing to me.
Okay, yeah, I'm seeing that now. This is not the thing. But
You take longer. I'm putting Fairy Tale on the news.
okay, here we go.
No.
So yeah, press sneak fuck. He was talking about with Google Stadia out, it's been an absolute flop. People at Google are really disappointed with the numbers because they're way below expectations, and the question now is whether or not Like, we just had this segment. How long is it going to be until it fucking dies? But yeah, they're gonna keep talking to multiple game studios. According to him, it's still the world's hardest proposition, which is what we were talking about earlier this year, right? Like, you're asking people
like, how the fuck do you monetize this?
You're asking people to pay you $10 a month so they can pay you $60 a game. That's insane.
Pay to go away.
It's nuts. It's nuts. Knowing that it's selling below expectations, like, we were saying earlier, they didn't sell out at any point I've seen. And God knows a lot of people canceled as more info came out. This it's bombing, and it's the first time I've been like, yeah, gamers, yeah, you did it. What? It's true. This is like
yeah, gamers, yeah.
It's like
pretty cool.
It's like we came together to run a charity for the future. It's like Child's Play, but for the future of humanity.
Well, this is great. We came together and did nothing, and it was great.
No. KZ, it's really important that you phrase it this way. We came together and didn't do one thing.
Yes, that's important. But do you think Google's going to have Daniel Ahmad killed?
Why would they do that?
Because he made that joke tweet about how much your bandwidth would have to be to use Stadia that a lot of people took seriously. And I'm wondering if that didn't influence this monumental flop a little bit. A little bit too much for Google to like.
That eats your bandwidth for lunch.
Yeah, I should probably check our bandwidth, Dan. After 1 day of Stadia, let's see how much more percentage we used. 1 day of minimal use of Stadia.
Yes, let's see what our cap is at. And while we do that, KZ, you got some news?
We can jump into some good news. I feel like we should lead off with a good feel-good news thing. All right. So the one game we have not seen anything of since they showed one teaser trailer was Babylon's Fall. That's the Square Enix Platinum Games joint.
Very psyched.
And they finally said something about it. Yosuke Saito of Platinum Games said that there'll be news by the end of the year. So finally, they're gonna show something about that, which is good because I assumed it was canceled.
I did
because
I didn't. But
I mean, I was somewhat worried, but I wanted to believe, so I just held out hope.
I figured it was next gen. Has this shitty habit of being like, we're making a thing, see you in 3 years. So it didn't seem that unusual to me.
I feel like we saw more of the new Nier than we did like this. It just seems strange that it's been announced. It's not at this E3 a year later. It's been some months since that. What's happening?
All right, I just checked it. Cox doesn't update fast enough, so it's showing me yesterday's usage. We'll have to check back tomorrow to know what Stadia did to us.
Great, just in time for the stream.
Do you think that there'll be that like this means there's going to be a trailer at the Game Awards?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what
definitely.
I'm thinking.
There's like that's the only big event left.
Yeah, it's that or like Jump Festa. I think that's the only other thing, and I feel like Game Awards would be a good spot to throw a new exciting trailer at, because otherwise it's like if you're confirming it for the end of the year, then I would assume there'd be like gameplay or a better look at what the game is.
I mean, this is the director that did Metal Gear Rising, so I'm really hyped. I want to know what this is going to be like.
I'm very excited to play a Platinum game. I haven't played one of those in years.
Oh, KZ, I think you're forgetting about something.
Am I?
Astral Chain.
Oh, Astral Chain does exist.
Fuck, my gamer brain turned on, which means I can't remember anything that went below a 7.
Oh no, IGN has infected his mind.
Bob.
It's quite unfortunate.
Bob, don't go and use your gamer brain after our next spoiler cast. I'll feel lonely.
I don't have a way to engage gamer brain. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's good. That's probably for the best.
Our next spoiler cast will be easy for me to put a 10.
I mean, anytime you could say the number 10.
10. So yeah,
Sick. The best part is fucking Phil said that like he was Jay Sherman's dad in The Critic. 10.
You having fun?
Just feels over there stirring out of his dementia just to be like, I give it a 10. Drinks whiskey.
penguins can't fly.
Penguins can't fly.
His hair's disheveled. He's missing his pants. 10.
I mean, any game that I leave in that state's getting a 10.
Me and Pokemon had a good time. Raihan's a good boy.
I cummed it.
Casey, go to your next fucking piece of news.
Okay. All right, here's a mini one. Demon X Machina's next collab DLC, which Dan tried to say was already the same news, but not. Their next collab DLC is with Code Geass.
That's the same anime, and you can't convince me otherwise.
This one features Suzaku and his Lancelot mech.
No, that's Fushigi Yugi. What the fuck?
It is Suzaku with his Lancelot nightmare frame. Nightmare written like a chivalrous knight.
Oh, I assumed.
Yeah.
I need to see a picture of this thing. Well, give me a second. Yeah, it doesn't look like maybe I just haven't seen his mech in a while, but it doesn't look like any of the other mechs in that show. Because I remember they had like a more boxy design to stuff. So that's weird.
He got like 700 different upgrades to it.
Of course.
So I'm sure it looks like one of them.
He's like the typical lawful good hero guy, so they give him the big white and gold like mech. I think it gets energy wings at one point.
Well, yeah, it's made by Clamp, so it has to.
Very long people there. But yeah, that's that news. Once again, KZ wins again, recognizing all these mecha series they're using. I wonder what the next one is.
I hope that we get Gundam.
There has to be a Gundam one. They got the voice actors. It'll just be the last one.
Gundam Seed. Let's do it.
Oh, don't say that. Anything else?
Yeah, please. Anything else?
Watch, they're going to do like Valvar or whatever that awful thing that was made by Sunrise.
Razafon?
There's that too, but they better not.
Holy shit, could you imagine Razafon crossover in 2020?
Right?
Well, that's that news. We got a couple other things on my list. Let's get the biggest fighting game news out. It's about Street Fighter, naturally.
Oh, yeah.
They announced a brand new version of the game.
Okay.
In the form of Street Fighter 5 Champion Edition, coming out Valentine's Day 2020. Right. It's going to be $30. If you have a version of the game already, it's $25 to upgrade.
$5 savings.
Boy, I sure fucking made out not buying a single fucking thing that came out after launch for this game.
Yes, you did.
Joke's on you, Phil. I haven't bought anything. I just commit crimes.
10 crimes. This contains 40 characters, 34 stages, 200 costumes.
I was tempted by costumes once in a while, so I'm excited for this. I'm probably going to do it.
People are reacting like that's a lot, but like every character comes with 3 by default, and there's 40 characters, so that's like not as insane a number as it seems.
I was watching the stream when they announced this, and the commentators joked just like 200 Chun-Li costumes, because apparently they just give Chun-Li costumes every time.
Yeah, Chun-Li has an absurd amount of costumes. They got her original character designer come back and design more costumes for her.
She's like, in this costume, her thighs are even bigger.
But yeah, they got that. They're adding a V skill 2 to every character.
One of them is blocking.
And Gil was announced as a character. He's like on the cover. He's Liam O'Brien.
Yeah, we knew that since the
Excuse
story came out.
Excuse me, I'm losing my mind. There's no way. Bob.
What's up?
Bob. I need you to confirm this with me. Gil still isn't in that fucking game?
No, he's not until this
No.
new version comes out.
Bob, how long has it been since the story clearly led into him being added into that game?
3 years.
Over 2 years ago.
4 years. 4 years, I think. It came out that summer, didn't it? The summer it launched.
When am
It
I?
can't be 4 years. That game didn't come out in 2015, did it?
I think it did.
No. There's no way.
Okay, no, it came out in 2016, so 3 years.
Okay.
Came out February 2016.
So yeah, it's only been 3.5 years.
It'll be when this comes out, it will have been 4 years.
Basically, yeah.
Wow.
Oh.
All right.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, around July of 2016 is when the story mode came out, which clearly ended with, boom, here's Gil.
Here's a lead into a second story mode we never did.
Look, that's for Street Fighter 6.
Hey, Bob, is it me or is this game made by chimps instead of dimps? You know, those monkeys, they can't put together any fucking story mode for this. Jesus Christ.
As I will say every time it comes out, the subtitle for that might as well have been Street Fighter V Story Mode: The Obligation. Alternatively, Street Fighter V Story Mode because NetherRealm does.
Whatever.
It's called
I liked it a lot.
Shadow Falls.
Yeah, that thing was funny as hell.
It was.
He breaks a katana with his muscles.
And you got
Muscle
stuff like
power.
Ken, like these models clearly never intended to be used in a story mode, so Ken picks up his child and his hands are bigger than his child's entire body.
That's just how Street Fighter characters are. They mature and
Street
their
Fighter-
hands get huge.
Is Street Fighter V the ugliest game this gen?
No.
It has
Just
the
like-
worst art
just
direction,
look-
in my opinion.
Yeah, that I mean in terms of that, not in like graphical fidelity.
It definitely it's definitely fucking up there. Like, not counting shit that's just soul draining like every Tom Clancy game.
Oh, I thought you were saying stuff like Abigail doesn't count.
But it's the main reason I quit playing that game. It was just so fucking ugly.
You know, yeah, I think that story mode's all right, Bob. I might rank it above some RPGs I've played.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
fair.
No, true. Granted, I don't think you have a negative bias against Street Fighter, unlike other things.
I'll explode my car at you.
Street Fighter notably unaffected by being jaded.
True. Wonderful. We have other fighting game news before I die. Guilty Gear 2020 now is its official title, Guilty Gear Strive. They specifically highlighted the I and the V and Strive because it's 4. And then they teased Faust, who will be revealed sometime in January at an event called Frosty Faustings.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they asked if rollback was essential and then announced online competitions in the same breath. Then Daisuke was interviewed about rollback and said, half the team wants it. The other half says it won't work for Guilty Gear. So I don't know.
This is the worst it has ever been. And like, change is scary. We're fucking dumb.
But we'll ruin the game, though. We can do that. We got that covered.
Some of my people told me the rollback wouldn't work in the Guilty Gear system.
Bring one put half those people in California, half of them in New York, and make them play fucking Xrd online, and their tune will change.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am convinced that any Japanese developer who says anything like this, like, do you really need rollback, just does not know and can't conceptualize how bad it is.
This statement was rough. I was expecting them to just not say anything about it at all. I would rank it a 7 out of 10 on the Masuda scale.
Them being like, I don't know, do you guys really want this basic feature that makes the game playable?
Yeah, but they don't know that it's a basic feature that makes the game playable. They're just like, it's whatever those gaijins like.
Somehow they are completely blind. I know. Strange.
Yeah.
Hey,
They are.
they don't play foreign players, and in Japan, pings are like single-digit milliseconds.
Right, but somehow, after a decade of people yelling at them, they still haven't got got it. I
They
don't
just
get this.
assume we're all crazy because they're idiots.
That's insane.
They're like, oh, those people in America just have bad internet.
That okay, even if that was true, which it largely is, you're making an international product.
It still blows my mind. They're like, oh yeah, we need to make this game stupid, simple for babies, but
Guilty Gear, stupid simple for babies.
but we can't.
I want the announcer to say that shit.
That would be pretty good.
Heaven or hell, baby one. Let's rock.
Also, the mystery of the lyrics of that song became deeper as Daisuke said, no, it's not English. It's weird Japanese we wrote to sound like English. No, we're not writing down the lyrics for you.
What? What are you
That's-
talking
that-
about?
that's
What Japanese
bullshit.
word sounds like that is bullshit blazing?
He
Still
said
my heart
he's-
is blazing.
He said it's some weird archaic words that they picked to sound like English.
Oh, I think Samurai Champloo does the same thing.
That's bullshit.
It is.
All of
I
it's
was
bullshit.
about to say this is like whenever fucking Namor trolls people in interviews like, no, it's not that at all. No. Laughs.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely that.
That is
People are
that
getting
is
played.
insane.
When you hear an engineer in the game industry, sorry, the thing I just said reminded me of the tweet I read.
What?
Fucking that engineer who works in the game industry apparently was at his job and heard someone say, "Dude, you're getting played unlike a Stadia game."
You know, I like that we have things that just infect your mind that you have to say. Last week it was David Jaffe. That's pretty cool. This time it's just Stadia owned.
Honestly, that should be the subtitle of this episode. Unlike a Stadia game, you're getting played.
Unlike Stadia, this thing runs.
Unlike Stadia,
Podcast works.
this won't cause a forest fire.
Ooh, I don't want to think about those things in California.
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I was talking to my friend Sky while I was playing some Pokemon, and I just made a joke. It's like, you're either trapped in traffic over there or things are on fire. And he said, I'm trapped in traffic and I can see smoke.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. It
This
is
was
that
at like
bad.
2 a.m.
You know, Bob, the part that upsets me,
What's that?
they could have made the Chromecast larger and then I could at least fry an egg on it.
Right?
As it
you,
is.
You were calling it a hockey puck. That's like a mini hockey puck.
That's a
or
Metal
something.
Gear thing, right? Frying eggs. I know that.
Kinda.
Yeah, it's integral.
KZ, do you know foods through video games exclusively?
Yeah, that's why I play Vanillaware games in Final Fantasy 15.
Yummy.
Talk.
So,
Very good.
Half-Life.
Oh yeah, so a brand new Half-Life game was just fucking announced. It is Half-Life Alyx, a VR game that is a prequel to 2, and it's compatible with all the VR devices. At least that's the way they described it. I
On
checked out
PC,
that
yeah.
trailer and that Jeff Keighley video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the VR PC devices, and they kind of got into it and talked about what they were shooting for with the game and
Hey,
what
Bob.
it's like to get into interviews where people are just going to talk about Half-Life 3.
Yeah, Bob, do you want to know how that interview went?
Sure.
Here's how that interview went. Yeah, I bet a lot of people working here really wanted to work on the next Half-Life game. You know, I know those people who worked on Portal didn't get to do that, so I bet they're really glad. Yeah. So, after this, are you guys going to make a full console, a full game experience? Is that what you're looking into? We're just trying to ship this, and we'll worry about that later.
We're just waiting to
God.
see what the reception of this game's going to be before we figure out what we want to do next.
So
They're not going to do shit.
Why did you guys make this a VR experience? Like, where did that come from? Because we thought if we made it a VR experience, it was a good way to convince ourselves we weren't working on a full Half-Life game. So we got to just focus on what's fun in VR and not think about, man, we're making another Half-Life game. And that's really how we got through it. Is not thinking
And the
about
whole
it like
thing
that.
of this
This
was
sounds
made
miserable.
This was made in response to, well, we got a lot of messages and reception of where's the flagship VR title to make people want to play this, and that's why this exists. This is like their big push for that.
It's a Half-Life prequel. That's not what people are dying to play. That's
if they had said Half-Life 3 VR exclusive, someone might have firebombed their office.
Yes.
Look, the Half-Life 2 was Steam exclusive. If they're going to go all in, they need to go all in.
Also, they fired all the fucking writers.
They did.
Write this.
Yeah, who wrote
by
this
the way,
one?
Valve isn't even really making this. Not really. It's the people they got from Campo Santo who made Firewatch. And by the way, In the Valley of the Gods, the game they announced a while back, is apparently canceled.
Bob, they effectively outsourced a VR version of Firewatch that is Half-Life prequel. This is the most insanely cynical thing I could have ever imagined.
Dan?
People made jokes about this, and it is real.
Are you telling me the people... I'm not the biggest Half-Life fan.
Right.
I played Lost Coast once. I heard that was pretty good. Now...
Wait, those are two very different statements.
Now, I've dabbled in some of this Half-Life business. I know that they ended the Half-Life 2 Episode 2 on a major cliffhanger of sorts, and then blue-balled people for over 10 years. You telling me that they took that and they said, all right, what if we gave you a new game, but it doesn't progress the plot? It's a prequel. It's in VR, and we outsourced it.
They didn't outsource it technically because they acquired Campo Santo, but they basically bought a company to make it. I also, KZ, you forgot the part where all the writers quit and said, they're never making this fucking game. Here's our fucking notes and what we had written for the plot, and just dumped it out onto the internet.
Yep.
Well, that isn't it. They said it was strictly not Half-Life 3's plot.
Yeah, I mean, they replaced the main character's name.
It is a legally distinct story summary.
that I decided to dump on the internet as I quit this company angry.
I don't know about that. That seems a little tinfoil hat theory, man.
Yeah, that's clearly a stretch.
Yeah, very much. I looked at the trailer for that. It looked interesting. I'll never play it because VR is not something I have on my list of shit to buy.
I'm trying to think, like, first of all, I watched this trailer and I can't tell if it's just like all trailers are the same now, but this trailer being like, the bad guys have a super weapon. We got to get it from the bad guys. That makes me feel like, wow, you really did fire all your writers.
They made a prequel to Half-Life 2. You're damn right a writer didn't come up with this.
It was kind of neat seeing new renditions of the Half-Life 2 stuff. Like that with the main city, just seeing the head crabs in higher fidelity. It was kind of neat seeing that stuff.
I'm calling my shot right now. Okay.
They had the G-Man in there.
Here's what's going to happen, Bob.
What's that?
G-Man is going to sound wrong, and he's going to say some shit that is going to upset people.
Yeah, no, I'm sure every angle of writing is going to be terrifyingly bad.
G-Man voiced by Jeff Keighley.
Will like you get to VR spy on G-Man giving an unbelievably evil monologue for no reason?
You're going to receive a speech from G-Man about how you are also incredibly important to the events that are to come. And it's going to be like, I played Half-Life 2. Kinda important is more accurate.
Maybe. Allegedly.
Time for our second Gamer Premonitions round.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Will this lead to anything? Leading to means within the next 5 years. Dan.
You
From
mean
release.
leading to as in like they
As
do
in
another
they're
Half-Life
making
thing?
A real Half-Life thing that isn't like VR. That's like, here's our we're actually coming back to Half-Life.
So by 2024, by the end of 2024,
It has to be out. It has to be out.
Oh, it
not
has to
just
be
announced.
out by then,
Well,
not just that.
I think to be maximum fair to it, you should do it from the release date of this, which is March of.
Yeah, from the release date. Will by March 25, will we have even something on the level of like Half-Life 2 Episode 3?
No.
Bob?
I'm going to be optimistic and say yes. We will see something. It won't be Half-Life 3. It will be Half-Life something.
KZ.
Yeah, so there'll be some sort of Half-Life thing, and I assume the episodes weren't very long.
You're wrong.
I'm gonna say no, because I think the only reason this game is happening at all is because they acquired that studio, because everything I know about Valve's corporate structure is nightmare.
Valve's corporate structure is the hedge maze from The Shining.
It's what they call a flat corporate structure, which means nothing ever gets done.
It is. I mentioned this to Bob before this was even announced. It is stunning how Valve is such a Silicon Valley company, but they're privately owned. Like, it's so crazy. All of the stories that come out of there that just make it sound like yet another crazy Silicon Valley corporation.
I have like hopes that in the next few years they'll start going, all right, we've gotten tech to a certain place that we can start approaching making literally anything. Like, make a new Left 4 Dead already.
I think we might get Gmod 2. I don't expect anything more than that.
I feel like Left 4 Dead's one of the easiest ones for them to just make a new one of those.
Oh, apparently we got new Stadia news.
Oh, God damn
during
it.
the podcast?
God
Yes.
damn
Okay.
it.
This was in an Italian Stadia thing that got translated.
Mamma mia.
Dan, not only if your premium thing lapses will you not be able to play Samurai Shodown, you lose any game you bought at a discount.
What?
You should buy Final Fantasy 15.
That's insane.
You okay, Dan?
At the very least, you won't be able to play them without a Stadia premium membership.
Yeah, it's just like PS Plus, right? Where I buy a thing on a PS Plus sale and then they just take it away if I can't afford it.
IGN reports a tweet from Google Stadia Twitter account has stated that games purchased with a discount provided by Stadia Pro subscription will be unavailable for users to play if the subscription has lapsed. However, this information is a communication error and is incorrect.
Okay.
However, Google has since clarified to IGN that this is a communications error and that games purchased with a discount will remain playable even if your Pro subscription has ended or is on hiatus. And then fucking IGN goes to elaborate, and then a turd rolls out of their mouth as they go, "This means the system works akin to Sony's PlayStation Plus discounts." No, because your games don't look worse than been expired.
Talk about
kind of like it.
Let's talk about something more positive, like BioWare.
Very positive
you.
feel.
I thought he was going to say
Bob,
biological
you go.
warfare, and I'd be like, okay, yeah, sure. That's more positive.
Okay,
than
Bob
Stadia.
can go first. I'll just polish these tungsten knuckles.
Apparently, people have, some leaker found I'm sorry, I didn't put this on my news, so I'm reading
Yeah,
it.
I assumed.
I was like, what's
Yeah.
going on?
Shove this in your news.
I did, and I included a link because I assumed Bob would look at the document.
Oh, I thought this was Bob. I was like, man, he learned hyperlinking.
No, I put it on there for Bob.
But
Because he always
okay.
does the Call of Duty news.
There you go, Bob. He's just thinking of you.
Thank you, Phil. Apparently, there's going to be a battle royale mode in Modern Warfare, according to some leaker.
Yeah, and he got maps right. Like, he's like, these maps will come out soon, and then they came out.
Okay, so we have
200 players.
That's gonna run bad.
No, it'll be fine.
they have 60 players on maps right now, but this is a bit bigger than that.
It'll
This
be
is
fine.
6 times the amount Fallout 76 is going to get with its battle royale.
But I don't like those kind of modes, so I'm not really excited at all. I will have to wonder what their deal is, because I thought they were just going to leave the Black Ops 2 having the battle royale mode.
Yeah, what's your deal, man?
Have that.
What's your
as the-
damage, Activision?
trying to keep selling that separately. But I guess if you just bundle it with a new game, then you can just lay it to rest.
Let the past die.
Yes.
I do think the respawn system they apparently are going to be using sounds really interesting to me. You have to get a respawn token, like you pick it up from a dead person. And then if you die, you can respawn if you win a 1v1 in a special area against another player who died.
Oh, that's pretty fucking metal.
That is really cool,
Okay,
actually.
I like that a lot.
And
Please tell me it's
after
a
like
knife
so
fight.
many, like once you get down to like, I guess it'll be like when you get like down to 10 people or whatever, it'll be like, no, it's locked now. You can't do it.
Yeah, that's when the Bomberman "hurry up" sound effect goes, and then the level starts exploding.
But I like, you're both in hell. Fight your way back to life. One of you can't come back.
And
Man,
Shax is there the whole time cheering you on. He's like, "Good luck, Guardian."
if any of these battle royales were crazy enough to be like, oh yeah, then a rainstorm comes in, the whole level's filling with water, and you can only swim for so long.
That's kind of what the Housemarque one's doing.
Okay, that's neat.
Kinda, a little bit.
It's starting to sound like it's not like that.
It's like that if you're high.
The other news I got here.
Is this news you put here?
Yes, this is
Did
news I
you
put
write
here.
this?
I'm very excited for this news you put here.
Soul Calibur 6 version 2 starts on November 25th, which I think is around the release date of this podcast.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. I think
yeah,
it's
and
a
then
day.
it is actually a day before the season pass hits, where the new character is going to come out and stuff. But the apparently they're doing a ton of stuff for version 2 that's unrelated to that you just get for having the game in general.
Whoa, like what?
New moves for every character, like just new
Oh.
regular moves.
Oh, that's cool.
New special moves for every character are called Soul Attack and Resist Impact, which
Oh,
it's apparently Resist Impact can block even unguardable, or like currently unblockable moves. So I guess it'll be related to meter or something. I haven't been able to look deep into how it works yet, but I'm excited. I really want to see what they do with this system. And it also sounds like when you do, those rock, paper, scissors modes, that stuff? When you hit each other and you guys have to
Oh, yeah.
The
Yeah,
zoom
yeah,
in
yeah.
slow-mo thing.
apparently now you can block those. Like if someone does one of those special attacks that leads into a rock, paper, scissors mode, if you block it, it just won't do that part. So
That makes sense.
That's
that
cool.
should be a thing.
yeah, trying to reduce the amount of that thing happening. Great.
yes.
Yeah, because I do a match where that happened 40 times. I'm like, this is shitty. I love it.
So yeah, that and then redesign menus for everything. Like character select looks brand new like health bar look. It seems like it's a good overhaul of it. I'm really excited. I want to see how this looks when we can boot it up.
Yeah, I'm pretty hyped about this. We should definitely play that.
Then Hilda comes out on Tuesday.
Ooh, yeah.
And at some point,
Yeah.
Hamaru is going to be in there, and then
Oh fuck! I keep forgetting
right.
the dude
I
from
keep forgetting
fucking Sam
because
Show.
I feel like the samurai already in there looks so much like him.
He is pretty similar,
So it's
No.
like, oh, they're adding.
but he's got the gigantic hair,
I hope-
so it's good.
I hope they add like a unique intro where they shit talk each other.
Soul Calibur does need those. I don't think. Well, I guess there
They
are
kind of
some.
have them, don't? Yeah, they kind of have them already. It's just not like Mortal Kombat where it's
Yeah.
every character with every other character.
I mean, there's that part where Nightmare walks up to Mitsurugi and he said something about like, "I will see this nightmare through to the end," and the Mitsurugi's like, "The Lin Kuei have betrayed me," and, and his face explodes into a flaming skull. Like that one's pretty good.
Cross Tag has a lot of that stuff of like interactions between characters because that second version came out, I think yesterday.
What?
Came out around this time,
Huh.
which added all the extra characters.
Yeah, and added the tank.
interactions between Naoto and Naoto.
Let's
Feel. Let's do
go
this.
through let's go through the nice things before I bring us down.
Time to make the donuts.
Yes.
First, in what might be the most accurate piece of character portrayal in any licensed game, in Dragon Ball Kakarot, you will be able to refight previous bosses by collecting the Dragon Balls and using them to revive that boss. And there's dialogue related to it.
Cell's like, Goku, why have you brought me back? And Goku's like, I'm gonna beat you to death with my hands.
That's literally what it is. They showed
Yeah.
a screenshot of him and Cell.
It's fucking killing me. I love
just-
it.
They describe a situation in which you revive Frieza, and he will have a unique interaction when Goku goes Super Saiyan 3.
Pissing himself.
It's so fucking ridiculous.
Guess I'll die.
It's so fucking ridiculous.
Atlas, with their inability to not do this, I think they have some kind of disease.
Not news.
No, it was on all the news sites, so it must be news.
No.
Atlas has announced that they will announce Persona 5 Royal's Western release date on December 3rd. So look forward to that, I guess.
Hey, Bob.
Didn't that leak for February 20th or something?
Bob, I'm excited to announce that on the big thing that comes out after they announce that, I still won't give a shit.
Whoa.
I have great news, guys. KZ, with all of his heart, wants them to say, yeah, it's coming out March 3rd.
I want that too now.
Just put it next to fucking Final Fantasy 7.
So
Then delay it 8 times.
Yeah. It comes out in fucking September in the end. It comes out the same day as the PS5.
No PS5 version. They have to delay that
That would
port
genuinely
for that.
upset me if it came out the same day as the PS5.
Because you're busy buying a PS5 and Xbox 2 and a Switch Pro. There's just too much going on there.
Like, seriously, Bob, who's going to be the big dick motherfucker who's like, yeah, well, our PS4 game's launching on that day? Because it's a very Final Fantasy IX move, but whatever game does it isn't going to feel that justified.
No,
Oh,
it's
did
going
Final
to...
Fantasy 9 do that?
And Final Fantasy IX basically came out at the PS2 launch, like thereabout. So it had this moment of like, fuck you, go back.
And we're going to put this pretty mid Final Fantasy.
No, they were more like, here's a really great Final Fantasy that if anyone besmirches aggro will kill them. That's about the tone they had when they launched
Aggro
that.
is my great friend and comrade, except when every image related to me comes up and he says, here's a better one. And it's just him editing the image to say, my taste in starter Pokemon sucks. And then someone named Dan Video Games will retweet the images.
Look, I explained to you that retweet was accidental. I accidentally smashed the retweet button as I clapped at that tweet.
I could hear your laugh. Anytime something funny happens, I either imagine you or Tosh laughing.
And distant laughing.
Yes. Do you braid?
Man.
So
Wait, okay.
Fuga, Melodies of...
Wait. More important than that, BioWare has a new logo and it's bad. Wait, what?
That's going in the BioWare segment. That's going in the BioWare segment. There's stuff here. We'll get to it.
I'm just so interested. Who the fuck announces a new
Stuff
logo?
here.
Anyway, Fuga, Memories of Steel, which is CyberConnect 2's furry tank game. It's in the same continuity as Solato Robo.
Oh, that is a bad logo.
Yeah, we've discussed it before.
Don't you think that's a little mean?
No. But we discussed it before, and it's the tank game that's going to be sad, and you can use a super weapon by killing one of your party members. And when I said that, Bob made it sound like part of his soul was shaved off.
Yeah, because
It sounded so bleak.
It's very Inti Creates.
Incredibly.
It hurts.
Oh God, you're right.
Bob, are you trying to
No,
say
they
there's
wouldn't do it-
huge crossover between furries and Inti Creates
No,
fans?
they
Because
wouldn't.
I have
Inti
no
Creates-
evidence to counter that.
Indie Creates wouldn't be that interesting. They do it as part of the story, but they wouldn't just give you the option to do it.
Inti Creates made Cyber Elves.
That's not
Cyber
a
Elves are
character.
raw.
Yeah,
They don't go,
It's the
"Here's your
closest thing to a
11
character that game's got.
They all have proper
That's true.
names. They all have
If you
proper
go, here's
names.
11 characters. You can use this super weapon, and one of them dies and never comes back.
Bob,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
is the depth of Inti Creates the trailer for Soylent Green the movie?
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Yes.
Oh.
I feel like Bob said this about Astral Chain, but every Inti Creates game is the anime you dropped 3 times.
I forgot I said that.
Dude, fucking somebody sent
One of your
in
best statements of all time.
somebody sent in Mega Man Zero on the last Game Boy Roulette, and I literally snapped in a way that I've never snapped at a game that was sent in. I just fucking every time I convince myself this time I'm gonna see what everyone else sees and I'll enjoy this. I keep setting myself up. God.
The Langrisser 1 and 2 remakes, which were announced a while back, are coming out in the West on March 10th, 2020.
What
Cool.
the fuck's Langrisser?
It's this tactical RPG in the
Okay.
vein of Fire Emblem.
It's like
good.
a tactical
Got
RPG series.
Okay.
Uh,
Got it.
Counter-Strike now has characters. I think they also launder money.
What?
Yeah, they're like, oh, we have characters now because every fucking game does.
I mean, they had
Good. It's good when
characters-
games have characters in them.
They had characters before, like Knife.
They have names like the Barber, the Colonel, the Workhorse, and the Tenderizer.
Sound off in the comments. Who is the tenderizer in the Big Think group?
I would like to point out, since this is a great moment to do that, Twisted Metal was the original hero shooter.
I'm gonna. I won't
Okay,
be.
I'll let you have that.
Yeah.
David Jeff like, yeah, I'm pretty cool, huh? Did that?
I don't think David Jaffe would ever say that, but that's hilarious to think about him saying it.
I just like thinking of the voice saying that. All right.
I love Feels weird Lucas he got into. That was fucking
His
amazing.
impression of fucking David Jaffe.
Well, I didn't know
Just George
this is a
Lucas.
this is a really interesting fetish. I could make a game out of this, you know.
Okay, hold on. Yours doesn't sound like Lucas. Yours sounds like Bill Clinton.
George
you know,
Lucas sounds a little bit like Bill Clinton.
it's pretty interesting. This giantess is the deepest character we've ever done. We gotta nail it though. It's also the funniest. I can't do this. Let's keep moving.
Dragon Quest Builders 2 comes to PC December 10th. It will include all the DLC they made.
Cool.
That game that I've heard, maybe I'll get it because I've heard that game is good, but I was just
How was it on the Switch, Casey?
It was good on the Switch, which means it'll be 85 times better on anything else.
That's accurate. This is science.
Scientifically proven.
So something has been happening for a while where Chinese games get released on Steam, but they always have this big box like, this is only in Chinese, fuck you Americans.
Yeah.
Well, one from a big long-running series, because is that Gujuan? Is that how you say that?
Sure.
Okay, let's go with that. Gujuan 3 just got a patch. We have English now.
Neat.
So I'll probably try that at some point, because like it's rare where it's just like, here's a long-running series that just was never in English before.
Yeah.
Especially from a country that doesn't traditionally like put out games to the rest of the world.
Right. I think it's been weird and also kind of frustrating and surprising at the same time that we're getting Steam releases that don't even seem to try to have English. It's just like the default language is Chinese in the US market. That's nuts.
And then Zun, the guy who makes Toho, was like, "Here, I'll put my games on Steam. No, they won't have English. No, fuck you."
God.
Now we can get to BioWare, and I have to
God.
hand it to EA. They're evil, even I couldn't see the depths of. Now, a new Mass Effect game is reportedly in development. Reportedly,
Cool.
they're overhauling Anthem, and BioWare has a new logo. On the surface, these three things aren't related.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at the fact that so many senior people have left in the past year, I think EA is going to fucking rip everybody out of BioWare and basically install new people and pretend it's the same studio.
Yeah, no, that's why you call so many
Then I'll
different
win because
people.
BioWare will still exist.
Yeah, that's why you have BioWare and BioWare Montreal. That's why you have BioWare and BioWare Marin.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think all of those closed except BioWare Montreal.
That's the whole point, though. That's the idea. You franchise the notoriety of a studio, and I absolutely see that coming with this too.
Yeah,
Where it's just like
there's no original
the main
studio.
studio BioWare really did the pre-production on this. The heavy lifting is going to be done by BioWare Montreal.
But all those people left, and if they're not shutting BioWare down, I feel like they got told, "Hey, you're not in charge anymore. We're taking this shit over." Like they just lose any sense of autonomy.
When you look at that logo that they have for BioWare now, you just look at, yeah, it just seems like a shell. Like I see no personality out of that logo. You're just a machine over there.
Yeah. And on the Anthem front, they're rehauling it, but according to Press Sneak Fuck, this came out from him. They don't know who's making it, what the rehaul will entail, how long it'll take to do, or how it will be distributed, or if it will be a new game.
What do they know, Phil?
Nothing. They know they're doing it.
Why are they even trying? Like Anthem launched into the grave. What does the IP namesake do for them?
They have somebody at EA had to have gone like, they brought that No Man's Sky shit back. We need this.
Well, Final Fantasy 14 did some stuff.
Final,
and that was really easy for them.
I wish people would stop mentioning Final Fantasy 14. Them fixing Final Fantasy 14 is why last gen was fucked for Square Enix. They fucking threw everything into
chunk
that.
Of this gen.
Here I thought that was 13 and 15's fault.
13 getting 2 sequels, like part of that is because everybody was on trying to fix 14.
They're like, we have to release something. What can we fucking do?
I
we
feel
can
like
make her tits bigger.
I feel like when you look at Square last gen and early this gen, 14 is a problem, sure, but all of it just screams of we have no idea how to make a scope that we can deliver, and now we need to make sure we make money on top of that, and we don't know how to do that. It's been such a fucking insane ride dealing with Square since the PS2, I feel, and it's only recently that they've been like, we woke up from the fever dream, we promise we'll stop screaming and scratching at everyone.
We released one good game.
They're like 70%. They're like 70% fixed.
Yeah, Bob, we're fast approaching the second good game.
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
I mean, they've released a bunch of highly reviewed and critically and sold well Final Fantasy 14 expansions.
You're not wrong.
Age 3 was well received. World of Final Fantasy was well received.
Oh yeah, that they did release that. It was good.
All those builder games.
Dragon Quest 11.
Oh yeah, no one's critiquing the Enix side of Square Enix. That side seems relatively sane.
They're the
Except for
company. I feel like we can't split that shit anymore.
Their output clearly splits that shit.
I mean, last gen was still real bad for the Enix side.
Yeah, they were making Dragon Quest 10.
Yeah, but they were also off in 3DS land for a lot of that, weren't they?
They made one 3DS. They made one DS title. I don't even think it was a 3DS title.
Yeah, for so long it was just like our Dragon Quest thing is Dragon Quest 10. It's all coming to America. It's probably bad.
Jason Schreier, like the thing he put out, it's just like, what are you saying? Like, what is the point of saying this? Like, yeah, we're gonna
make
fix
it better. We're gonna make it better.
I can say I'm gonna build. Hey guys, guess what? I'm gonna make my own game on the par of Anthem. I just said the exact same thing with the exact same level of preparedness that BioWare did.
Nuh-uh. I bet they got a computer.
I don't know who's gonna make it, when it'll come out, what it'll be like, or how I'll distribute it, but it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't get this. This is insane.
EA has never shied away from throwing money in a hole. I expect this to either release as a second game, and it'll be like, if you owned Anthem, you can get it $10 off.
Oh man, that FromSoft.
or it'll be, okay, we figured out how much money and staff and time we need to rehaul this. EA will say, no, you get this much, and they'll release something sad.
Yeah, I
How
don't know.
excited are you for the E3 press conference that gets to show Anthem 2?
Is anyone still playing Anthem? Like, I have to wonder. They see those numbers. They have to be so pathetic.
They must be pathetic. Isn't it like, isn't they must have given GameStop some money, because I think it's center front page on their Black Friday ad.
What is it? It's been $10 for a year. Is it 2 cents
$5.
or something?
It's $5.
$5?
Excuse me, what?
It's $5.
I might buy it.
I'm pretty sure.
Seems like a bargain.
I'm pretty sure that's the case, because I saw that flyer. I might be wrong on the price.
Let's see. I need to see this. Let me look up the deals. Yeah.
Go to the church, see what the sermon's saying.
That's pre-Black Friday.
I love talking about Anthem because we started this podcast before it came out, so it's really great to see our old friend come back after it died.
It's like Remember Me, and just like in fucking Other M, you go, who?
Remember me?
I'm just looking at this. KilledByGoogle.com with its 191 entries.
Hey, that's pretty cool.
I got killed by Google.
Google's the funniest character we've ever written.
Imagine if Jar Jar Binks just went around killing people.
Ooh, we gotta invent negative latency.
It's very powerful.
10.
Okay, I'm looking at the pre-Black Friday ad. I don't see Anthem on the front page. Maybe it's hiding in here somewhere, though.
No, not that concerned.
Okay, that's fair.
So, KZ, are you buying a Stadia in the next week?
No.
What?
I don't even think
No way.
I don't even think I can afford a Stadia now. So instead, I guess I'll just work on content. Maybe I'll finally be able to start playing that Star Wars game.
I'm really excited. I played the first hour of that Star Wars game.
Is there a lightsaber in that?
There was a lightsaber in the first, 10 minutes. It was great.
Oh, shit. Creatively bankrupt.
No, this game's focused around the Wookiee bowcaster.
Do you get to play as a Wookiee?
No, you get to play as a human. You're just a human who's incredibly ripped. You play as Milo from Sword and Shield.
Yes!
Oh, I thought you were going to say you are the bowcaster.
It's one of those VR games.
And that's when I walked up to the director and I was like, I don't understand the bowcaster's motivations. And he said, no, you are the bowcaster.
Dan, I don't think anybody knows this reference.
Oh yeah, really? They don't know about the insanity that was Devil May Cry 4?
What?
Yeah, no, fucking Johnny Young Bosch goes up to the director and he's like, I'm asking for direction and help understanding the motivation of Nero, and he goes, no, you are Nero. And Johnny Young Bosch just stares at him.
I remember we were joking later of do you think the director thought he was confused and thought that he was playing Dante?
Maybe, yes, actually.
Language barriers. Bob, did you know there was a device that was called Chromecast Audio?
No, I didn't know that. I'm sure it sounds great.
Stop.
Bob, did you know about Project Aura? It was going to be a modular smartphone.
Oh my god.
They spent 3 years on that shit.
What?
Yep.
Can we run away?
They didn't ship a single product.
Am I supposed to fade you out as you do these?
No. In the next week, I will be drinking. I mean, playing Stadia while drinking. and coping with the loss of $130. We're going to try to stream it. And after that, we are seriously in crunch mode here at GigaBoots, so just expect normal podcasts, and that's about it. But I'm very excited for what comes out next Thursday. How about you, gentlemen?
Oof.
Oh, yeah.
Oof.
It was.
Oh yeah, I just remembered.
It was a stunning revelation.
Be excited for the podcast that shook our worldviews to their core.
Yes.
Expectations subverted beyond measure.
It subverted our expectations, and we didn't have to destroy a multi-billion-dollar franchise to do it.
Fucking amazing. Thanks for listening to this episode of Big Think Dimension. This show, like our other podcasts, is only possible with the generous time our co-hosts have given to us and the equipment we've bought to make it higher quality and easier to produce. Please consider supporting our podcast series on our GigaBoots Podcast Patreon and look forward to more gamer premonitions and Big Think Dimension in the future. The executive producers of GigaBoots for the month of October are Vincent Boberg, Nicholas Cameron, E. Lee Broyles, Star Falcon, Spaceman Spiff, Danny Richardson, Dryzard, Red Blaze 27, Third Birthday Wen, and Cappy. Thank you very much to our executive producers, and also these guys. If you want to support videos like this, then head on over to patreon.com/gigaboots and become an executive producer today.